Hello everyone, Happy Republic Day. Once again, we are going to discuss the subtopic 3. And under the subtopic 3, we are going to not cover the entire subtopic, but yes, 3.2 and one question from 3.3, that is limits of civil disobedience movement. So here we are going to mainly look into 5 social groups which has participated in the civil disobedience movement. So first group is rich peasants. Okay, so the first group what we are going to see is the rich peasants, why they participated in the civil disobedience movement. So you need to understand rich peasants means they are like, they are rich. They used to pay the revenue to the government, but what happened, what is the reason that they also joined the movement, they joined the civil disobedience movement? So they had their own ideas and perception of Swaraj. So to encourage the movement, that's the reason, like, they have joined the civil disobedience movement. So this is your keyword: rich peasants like patidars of Gujarat and jats in Uttar Pradesh. Okay, very, very important keyword in this answer. Who were the producers of commercial crop? I hope everyone knows what is the commercial, what is difference between commercial crops and cash crops. Already you have learned in geography. So they were the producers of commercial crops, and the commercial crops were hard hit. Means बहुत नुकसान पहुंचा था. So when it has been hard hit by the depression, the price started falling down. So when the price started falling down, definitely the rich peasant used to get the less income. Okay, so when they will be getting a less income, they will not able to pay the revenue to the government as the government has asked for. So the second point, as their income reduced, they were unable to pay government the revenue. The government refused. They were not able to pay, but government was not ready to give any concession. So these all things included, that's the reason they have joined civil disobedience movement. Second social group what we are going to look into is poor peasants. Why they joined, but Congress did not support them. Okay, poor peasants, they joined the civil disobedience movement, but Congress did not support. So what is the reason why Congress did not support for their demands? So the peasants joined the civil disobedience movement because not only, like, lowering of revenue demand. This was the demand. The first demand was lowering down the revenue what they used to give it to the Britishers. But apart from that, there are a lot of peasants who had a rented land. Okay, so rented land, they never used to get income out of that because they need to pay revenue to the government, they need to pay revenue to the rich peasants or, like, talukdars and everyone. So at the end, they did not have anything in their hand. So that is the reason why they want to join the civil disobedience movement. They could not pay rent because of the depression and cash income, that is decreasing of cash income. They wanted the unpaid rent to the landlord remitted. Means they want that they should not pay the rent. The Congress could not give full support. What is the reason? This too is your first subtopic question answer. The second, why Congress did not support? The Congress did not support because they thought that if they are going to support the poor peasant, what will be happening here? The rich peasants will be upset. So that's the reason the Congress was not ready to support them. It was unwilling support, no rent campaign in most places. So the relationship between the poor peasants and the Congress remained uncertain. Okay, so these are the point why, like, Congress did not support them. The third group, that is the third social group, analyze the role of members, merchants, and the industrialists in the civil disobedience movement. So merchant and the industrialists, how they participated in the civil disobedience movement. The business classes supported the civil disobedience movement when it was first launched. Okay, they gave financial assistance and refused to buy. Very, very important. They gave the financial assistance and refused to buy or sell imported goods. Most businessmen came to see Swaraj at the time when the colonial restrictions on the business could no longer exist and trade and industry would flourish without any constraint. Okay, this is very, very important point. What they are saying, Most businessmen came to see Swaraj at the time when the colonial restrictions on the business would no longer exist. Okay, it will not longer exist and trade can easily flourish. But after the failure of Round Table Congress, business groups, they were not enthusiastic because they thought that now Swaraj is going to come where, like, you know, their business can flourish. But after the failure of Round Table Congress, what they felt now, like, you know, they thought that now Britishers are not going to agree for all the demands what they are asking for. So when the movement was relaunched by Gandhiji, that time business people, they did not support the civil disobedience movement. So this is how, like, you know, the merchants and the industrialists, they participated in the civil disobedience movement. This question can come for 5 marks. You need to write all 5 points to get 5 on 5. Write briefly note on the participation of industrial workers. Before that, what we have learned? We have learned about the industrialists, merchants, why they participated. Okay, so merchants and industrialists कौन होते हैं? They are, like, you know, owners type. अगर मैं simple word में बोलूं तो they are the owners. So owners point of view देखा. Now we are going to look into the workers point of view, how they participated in the civil disobedience movement, and this is your 4th subtopic. When 4th subtopic means 4th social group. Okay, again the question can be 2 or 3 or 5, but mostly I think the question can come for 2 marks. How, like, you know, industrial workers have participated in the civil disobedience movement. When the civil disobedience movement started, the industrial worker class did not participate in the large number except in the Nagpur region. Nagpur region was very very prompt in supporting for the civil disobedience movement. As the industrialists gave financial assistance and came closer, the workers, as I told you, see here, the industrialists came closer to the Congress. So definitely workers, what they thought, now जब हमारा boss ही Congress के साथ close है, so how Congress is going to help us? So that's also one of the reasons why workers did not participate in the large number. Some workers did participate in the movement. They boycotted the foreign goods. They asked for the higher wages and working condition. Okay, the remaining people, like, you know, the remaining workers who participated in the civil disobedience movement, they started, like, you know, they demanded, they boycotted the foreign goods. They demanded for the better working condition and higher wages. They participated in the protest rallies, boycott campaigns in the Chota Nagpur region. Gandhiji did not support the demands of industrial workers as it would have been nailed the business classes. Gandhiji, why he did not support? Because he thought that if he's going to support the working class, the industrialist will be upset. So you can see that he has not supported the poor peasant. Okay, the civil disobedience movement did not support the poor peasant, neither it has supported the industrial workers. Congress has supported the rich class only because they know that if where Congress is going to get the revenue, Congress is going to get revenue only from business class or the rich peasants. So they were more, like, you know, unki taraf unka झुकाव ज़्यादा था. So Gandhiji did not support the demands of industrial workers as it would have been nailed business classes. Gandhiji was reluctant to support the industrial working class as it would have divided the anti-imperialist forces. Okay, I hope you have understood. Next, this is the fifth subgroup, that is women. As I told you, in the non-cooperation movement, we have seen that the women participation was very mere, like, you know, बहुत ही कम था. But in the civil disobedience movement, women participation was very high. So how women have participated in the civil disobedience movement? During the Salt March, thousands of women came. This already we have learned. Okay, they participated, they protest marches and boycott the foreign clothes, liquor shops were picketed, they were into the manufacturing of salts. Okay, many women also went to the jail. Then in urban areas, women came from the high caste families also, they also participated. In rural areas, women participated even the rich peasants household, from there also they participated. Women were moved to Gandhiji's call to see the service of the nation and sacrifice sacred the duty of women. So they have responded by giving their wholehearted participation. So this time the Congress, the country has seen the women participation in the larger number. The civil disobedience movement saw the participation of different social groups, classes, give reason. Okay, see, we have now, I have told you each one social group can come for 2 marks or 5 marks. Okay, but the question can come as a combination question for 5 marks also. Okay, where they will be expecting you to write all 5 social groups. But you cannot write the entire 5 points for each point. So how you are going to write? So the question will come, the civil disobedience movement saw the participation of different social groups. Okay, they have not specified one social group. They are asking you different social groups. So you need to write all 5 social groups which we have mentioned. So you will be writing the rich peasants, about the rich peasants, where you are going to mention, as I told you, this is the very, very important keyword, Patidars of Gujarat and Jats of Uttar Pradesh. They joined the movement because their commercial crops were hit, and because of the trade depression, falling prices, they were not able to pay the revenue to the government. So they demanded fight against the high revenue. Poor peasants, why they joined? Because they were facing a lot of difficulty to pay the rent. So they wanted the unpaid, no rent campaign. So that's the reason the poor peasants joined. Business class joined because they thought that this is the time when Swaraj can be flourish, or their goods can flourish. But after the second civil disobedience, second roundtable conference, they also lost their enthusiasm and they did not join. Industrial working classes, only Nagpur region participated, other regions did not participate. And some of the workers, they started demanding for good working condition and high wages. Okay, the movement was against the low wage and the working condition. Women participation saw the large participation. So all 5 you need to write, but 3 lines. What were their demand? What was Congress point of view? Only that much you are going to write in this answer. Difference between non-cooperation movement and civil disobedience movement. 2 marks or 5 marks. Okay, there is a difference. We have learned about civil disobedience movement. We have learned about non-cooperation movement. Now you should know how you can differentiate between both. So first is based on the date. So non-cooperation movement launched in the year 1920 and continued till 1922. Okay, when it has been taken, it is taken after the Chauri Chaura incident. Civil disobedience movement, it is launched in the year 1930, March 12, 1930, initiated by the Salt Satyagraha. The movement was confined to only certain parts of India, whereas this movement was focused for all over the India. The main aim was to stop cooperating the British government, and here civil disobedience movement, their main aim was to break the laws which are being made by the British government. Non-cooperation movement, Muslim participation was in a larger number. Example, Khilafat Committee or Khilafat movement, Ali brothers, they participated. Whereas in the civil disobedience movement, due to divide and rule policy, there was less participation of Muslims. Later on, tomorrow's session, you're going to learn where I'm going to tell you about Hindu Mahasabha. Because of Hindu Mahasabha, the Muslims felt that this country belongs to the Hindus, not for the Muslims. So due to that, one of the reason why Muslim participation was less. When it is ended, as I told you, non-cooperation movement ended because of the Chauri Chaura movement, and civil disobedience movement ended because of the Gandhi Even Pact. And here Chauri Chaura. Not all the social groups were removed. Abstract concept. Thank you. And tomorrow again we will be seeing the national questions from the nationalism in India. Keep tuning and keep seeing my videos for the better understanding. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Information video.